My persuasive speech topic is about how certain electives should be taught in high school before other electives that we do not like to take. And here's a picture of my audience. First on the list should be financial independence. American households are increasingly expected to take responsibility for their own financial well-being. In an environment that is saturated with unlimited web for online shopping, people like to treat themselves. Opportunity. Not all schools teach financial management. Lack of opportunity may have some negative effects on a child's future. Private school may have more beneficial learning classes because they receive funds to go to a higher educated school. Some students are unable to attend those private schools, meaning that eventually their education wouldn't be up to par with others. Some financial burdens are healthcare, life insurance, car payment, phone bills, mortgages, and etc. On top of payments, people also have to deal with hackers and scaled ATMs, potential for their identity to get stolen. Identity theft is still an unsolved issue in America, but it's better to be safe. Another financial burden that is more prone to younger kids is impulse shopping. Individuals receive pleasure from impulse shopping. Impulse shopping is a form of stress relief, usually regretful after the money has been spent. After high school usually is your prime spending years if you have money, if you attend college. But I like to really think mostly of the financial burden as like a key priority for that should be taught in high school instead of, let's say, an elective that you would not like to take. For example, we could use art class or gym. Instead, you could substitute that for financial security or financial decision making. Some classes of home ec, some classes of a special trade, or instead of going to a trade school, you could intentionally learn it in high school without having a 2-year separation from your peers. Another thing that should be taught in high school is the situation of credit. Credit is borrowed money that you could purchase goods and services when you need them. Need credit to get loans, and you need credit to get a decent car. Credit, without any credit, you could hurt yourself financially. Taking loans, same with leasing houses or apartments. If you cut out on the lease too early, it could affect your credit negatively throughout the years. The importance of good credit also extends beyond purchases. Used by potential employers and landlords as part of the selection process for financial risk. Some companies do not want to risk their assets just because someone has bad credit. There was a ESPN 30 for 30 called Broke, shows financial struggles of pro athletes. One example of that would be MJ's gambling addiction and a relationship with his father. Another example would be Evander Holyfield, who said in the film to have 11 children by 9 women and his struggles to pay child support. Broke exposes how quickly money can become an issue. Shows how injuries can impair athletes from future work with expensive medical care because they intent have to pay for better medical care. Athletes in the NFL show struggles with finding work after they end their careers. Trusting others with their money can be dangerous, and they could be taken advantage of by some scammers or crooked lawyers. If financial classes were taught to those pro athletes before they made the big jump to the NFL, it could have saved them a lot of money from possibly, going broke. They could have found ways to save, possibly for their retirement, or they could have learned ways to invest in other aspects instead of just spending, and because they live paycheck to paycheck. They get paid weekly, and even though it is a lump sum, at first they would just love to spend because they would be fresh out of high school or college. They would love to spend with no one telling them how to budget their money correctly, because it is in fact their money and they are entitled to spend it how they want. But the average NFL career is only about 5 years unless you are a superstar with endorsements. For example, Antonio Brown has many endorsements that he could sit on after football career, so he can have a separate income after his career is over. If his career was ended quickly, what do you think that he would do before it? The answer is we don't know, because it all depends on how well you educate yourself before getting into financial situations of major issues. Other than financial risk being taught in high school, home ec, which used to be taught in high school, could be also another trade that you could learn just for basic cooking necessities, just simple meals, and just how to keep up with yourself, keep up with your home, how to use chemicals, which way, something more useful than just a gym class or a history and motion picture elective. But I think electives that should be taught in high school should definitely influence decisions before going to college.